Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by Mr. Muskie Charters, offering full-service guided fishing trips for walleye, muskie, bass, and sturgeon on Lake St. Clair and the Detroit and St. Clair rivers. Booking information is online at mrmuskiecharters.com. By Grilla Grills of Holland, Michigan, makers of wood pellet, charcoal grills, and professional pellet smokers. Grilla Grills are designed for ease of use to improve your grilling or smoking skills. More information at grillagrills.com. Hey everybody, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors, and thank you so much for joining us this week. We have a brand new show, and we're going to start over on the west side of the state and show you the Tight Lines for Troops event. That is always a lot of fun to say thank you to our veterans. You won't want to miss that. Some good fishing there. We're also going to show you some new technology when it comes to the fishing world, and that's actually going to come from above the bridge. You won't want to miss that. And we're going to stop in at a hunter safety course that's really going above and beyond to expose new people to the out of doors. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Grutzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's meat processor and Michigan destination since 1988. Offers a variety of homemade smoked meats and Michigan-made products in-store and online. The Country Smokehouse features an outdoor barbecue and bar. Details at countrysmokehouse.com. By AnglerQuest Pontoons, a mid-Michigan company building boats for fishermen by fishermen. AnglerQuest Pontoons are designed for comfort and functionality. On the web at anglerquestpontoons.com. By Huron Lady River Cruises in Port Huron, offering daily sightseeing trips and private cruises for all ages. Sightseers will experience the International Blue Water Bridge, Great Lakes Freighters, the Fort Gratiot Lighthouse, and more. Huron Lady River Cruises on the web at huronlady.com.
Soaking in the rich tradition of Michigan hunting for over 30 years, Vanguard is proud to sponsor our friends at Michigan Out of Doors TV.
Every year now, a group of anglers meet up in Manistee, Michigan for an incredible event. Tight Lines for Troops. This event takes veterans fishing, but it does way more than that. Its founder had no idea when it started that it would grow into what it has become.
10 years ago. This is our 10th anniversary, and we're going to take a few guys out fishing, and now it's just mind-boggling how big it is. I mean, we had 660 applicants this year, and
wow,
it's the biggest we've ever had, you know, so we can't get them all on boats, but we can still throw them a good time, so that's what it's all about. A lot of them come just to meet friends that they've made through the years, so we encourage them to come back all the time.
Boy, so you got to make your heart feel pretty good seeing a day like
it
this.
does.
Yeah.
It's something that, but you know, it's not me anymore. I got a whole big crew now. I mean, it's just gotten so big that we work on this year-round.
Year-round, yeah,
Yep.
that's a big
Every
deal.
month we meet, so.
Well, thank you for all you do for these vets.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming.
With several hundred vets in tow, the massive boat slowly heads out the channel here in Manistee. Rick Jakes filled me in on how this all works.
We'll all go out there, stage out there, shut our boats down. They'll play the bagpipes and taps and Amazing Grace, say a prayer, and send us on our way.
Nice. And have you done this before?
Yeah, I believe this is probably like the 6th year I've done this.
Okay.
So.
And why do folks like you, captains, or whether they're charter boats or just why do guys want to do this?
It's just good to give back to the people that have sacrificed for us and taken parts of their lives and put it on hold. So it's least we can do is spend a day on hold and take them out and show them a good time. So.
Dear God, please keep those who are out fishing today safe. Keep their hooks sharp, the boat safe, and the mind set, Lord. Thank you for allowing us to be out right now, able to enjoy this event. Thank you for the fish we take, the friends we make, and please keep those lines tight. In Jesus' name, amen.
After the prayer, the blast-off is quite the scene. Boats are headed in all sorts of directions. We went just barely north of the pier heads and quickly dropped lines in hopes of finding some shallow lakers. And that's exactly what happened.
Nice job, sir.
Thanks.
Very well done. First lake trout?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Rick said that the shallow or skinny water is great to target in this early part of the season.
Oh, we're fishing anywhere from, we're in 35 feet of water. We're fishing from anywhere from 5 feet to 25 feet. So
Okay.
they're all over the place right now.
Okay. And so somebody with a little boat could do this too, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We see a lot of guys out here in 15, 18-foot boats just running the shorelines in the spring, fishing lake trout, brown trout, and a few salmon up in here. But
So once the water warms up, they'll move further out?
they'll start moving out a little bit farther. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We need to get some warm water. We need some bait fish up here.
Okay. And how long have you been fishing Manistee?
About 12 years now.
And if somebody's not familiar with this kind of, is there structure up here, or what do you kind of look for out
Yeah,
here?
you get out about 3 miles, 3 or 4 miles. We get a good drop off with the shelf. Pretty much, first 3 or 4 miles, so it's pretty much 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then we start getting some major drop offs out at the shelf out there. And we get a little farther out, we get a second shelf that drops off as well.
And how'd you pick Manistee as a port?
You know what? Just more word of mouth than anything. I've never even been over here. I used to fish out of Oscoda for years, and when the fishing died off over there, started talking to some people, said you ought to give Manistee a try, and got over here and fell in love with it. So
Nice. So how often are you up here during the fishing season?
pretty much every weekend that we can get up here. So
We had 4 vets on board today, and it's always interesting to me to hear where they served and what they did. So here is the story of our crew today.
Jim Horn.
Jim, and what years were you in the service?
I was in the Army from 89 to 93.
Okay. And where's home for you now?
Braun, Michigan.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Have you
Thank
done
the staff.
Have you done the tight lines for troops before?
This is my first shift.
What's your thoughts so far?
I think it's a great program. I'm having a lot of fun. This was on my bucket list to be able to do or be on a charter fish program.
Oh, good. Well, thanks for being here today.
Uh,
Thanks for your service.
Thank you.
My name is Isla Smith, I-L-L-A,
Okay. And tell me what years you're in the service.
from 89 to 2008.
Wow. And where'd you serve at?
I started out National Guard and then I went full-time Army. So I did, I was in the Tennessee National Guard and did Desert Seal, Desert Storm after coming home. And then when I went active duty, I was at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. And then I went to Germany and was a paid tour on. I like to say that one. And then I retired out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Okay. And have you been here to the Tight Lines event before?
Oh yes. Yep. Last year I got lucky and got on the riverboat and got the trout that made the Facebook.
Okay.
So,
Kind of a neat event, isn't it?
oh yeah, it was a great time. I tell you, I was cold and kind of feeling miserable until I got that big one, and I had caught one before that, but that woke me up and was ready for some more.
And quite a few vets this year.
Yes, a lot more than usual. Even more female vets this year than I've seen in a while.
Well, thanks for being here and thanks for your service.
Well, thank you.
65 to 68, Vietnam Army.
Okay. And is this your first time to this event? Or?
About the third.
Third time. Okay. And did you have fun? You must like it. You're coming back.
Oh, hometown. I tried to volunteer. They said, no, you're going fishing.
Well, thanks for being here today.
No problem.
Jeff Badgley.
And Jeff, what branch of the military were you in and what years?
I was in the U.S. Army from 1980 to 2000.
Okay. And whereabouts in the world did they send you?
Let's see, I went to Germany, came back to Fort Hood, Texas, went back to Germany, came back, went down to Fort Benning, Georgia, and then I went out to Fort Devens, Massachusetts. Then I went to Korea, came back to Korea, went down to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, went to Italy, and then came back to Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
What branch did you say it was? Army?
Army.
Okay, and have you been to this Tightlines event before?
This is about my 7th one.
7th one?
Yes.
And what are the vets that you've talked to that have done this before? What do they think of this event?
Oh, everybody loves it. It's getting out, just catching the fish and having a good time with each other and telling stories.
Nice. Well, thanks for being here and thanks for your service.
Thank you.
We were steady into the Lakers today, and even though we didn't land a monster, catching fish is what we were here to do, and we were finding them.
Making you work.
I got a little pole there. He's taking out a line.
All right, you're good. Better one.
Each vet was able to tangle with at least a couple of fish each, and we stayed in that shallow water most of the morning. Spoons were working, spin doctors with flies were working, you name it, it caught fish today.
You're good. Real. Brought up. We got him. Good fish.
I have covered this event a handful of times, and without question, coming in is my favorite part. The locals all come out to say thank you to these deserving men and women. This is what it looks like, and this is what it sounds like. It's pretty awesome, to say the least. All I can say is, Manistee, well done. Thank you to all who made the effort to come down to support our veterans. There were hundreds and hundreds of folks here, and the afternoon was just getting started. The guys got to show off their fish and make the journey back up the channel. Then it was down the road to the tents that would house the afternoon events. A nice dinner was planned, and prizes for the biggest fish were handed out.
Biggest Dream was weighing in a nice king salmon, just short of 19 pounds, 18.95. Biggest Dream. That's our new leader. New leader that was. That's the largest king that we've weighed in, just short of 19 pounds.
Yeah, the second king.
It is dethroning the flat out fish that was the biggest.
With a lot of smiles at each table, it seemed most everyone here today was enjoying all that Manistee has to offer.
How was the fishing today?
Really good. Had a good time.
Yeah, did you guys go north or south?
We went north, up to Onekama.
Oh, you did? Okay. And you caught a few?
Well, I caught 2.
Nice. Well, good deal. Well, thanks for being here today.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for your service.
You too, Jim.
There were shirts to buy and hats for all. This is such a great event. One really cool part of this is that all the fish that were caught were also brought in, and a team of fish cleaners like you've never seen were making small work of all the fish that were caught today. Each veteran was given a small box of fresh fillets to bring home as well. Thanks to all the hardworking folks that made this happen, and thanks to all the veterans for their service to this great country. We have a lot of great hunter safety programs all around the state of Michigan, and they are so important in keeping our legacy here of the outdoor sports alive and well. I recently stopped into one here in West Michigan to find out what they were doing to expose new people to the out of doors. A few weeks back found me in Norton Shores, just a little bit outside of the Muskegon area, for a pretty unique hunter safety course. My youngest needed to take his hunter safety, and from what a few local buddies had told me, well, this was the place to go, the Norton Shores Police Department.
So the classroom lecture deals with all of the hunting, the safety hunting aspects. So from how to properly handle a firearm to a bow and arrow to the tree stand portion of it. It's just a lecture portion, and they have a test at the end that we have to prepare them for in that lecture, and we're also preparing them for it today where we go over the test questions with them.
I have not been in a hunter safety course in quite a few years, and I have to say, I was pretty impressed. The folks putting this on did a great job, and with lots of volunteers with expertise in different areas, the classroom portion flew right along.
For the last 18 years, we've had our hunter safety program at the Norton Shores Police Department. For 3 days, the kids go to the classroom and learn on a lecture portion of it, but the final day on Saturday, they have their field day. So there's multiple stations out here. We have the bow station where they can come out and shoot bows and crossbows to learn the safety aspect of that.
That's 150 pounds pull, so you've got all that energy stored up, and you touch that trigger off with nothing on there, it's ruined. And these are costly little buggers, so if you ruin it, you're going to feel really, really bad about it.
Gun is always pointed in a safe direction. Safety's on until you're ready to fire. Never pointed at another person. Treated as a laser. Have you ever heard that rule before, laser rule? Yeah. Okay, all right, so if my finger has a red dot coming out the end and I just did this, and that red dot went right across Sarah's leg, that'd be the laser rule. Okay, so we want to watch out for that. Remember, treat is always loaded. The guns are always stored upright like this today when we bring them back. That shows that the action's open and the safety's on.
This field day was what I had heard about, and it was really a great hands-on way to do this.
Very easily things can happen and go wrong when you're walking in the field. So we're talking about pheasant hunting, maybe rabbit hunting, partridge, woodcock, things where you're hunting with others. And what's nice about that type of hunting is you're not doing it alone. You know, it's kind of social, a lot of fun where you can, catch up with each other and talk while your dogs are working. And for those of us that have bird dogs, we enjoy it watching our dog more than the kill. The kill is just a secondary thing. Actually, we shoot the bird because if we don't, the dog gets mad at us.
It was really cool for kids to learn about outdoor activities that maybe they've never done before.
Some of the do's and don'ts when it comes to trapping here, and do's and don'ts when you come across a trapped animal in the woods when you're out hunting, all right? And we'll explain a couple of different types of traps, whether it's a conibear body gripper or a restraining type trap, whether it's a foothold or a cable restraint, all right?
There's our imaginary tree stand up there that we set up, right? Our deer came by broadside. That's good, right? We still got an aiming point at all the vital areas. Area here where there's quite a bit of blood, probably where the deer laid down. That could mean a couple different things, just some other things to think about while you're on your trap. So you want to make sure that you're not just following the blood along the ground like this. Make sure occasionally you look up along the horizon, right? Because you might be able to see the deer laying down somewhere. It could mean maybe that we started tracking too soon, and we kicked the deer up because it went to lay down here and we kicked it up. So that's why it's important to keep looking up, because if we see that we kicked the deer up, maybe we want to back it off a little bit, wait another half an hour before we continue the track, right? Because we don't want to keep pushing that deer.
What do you do if you break your arm? Did you guys learn that in class?
If you roll this up in your hand and then go right around with it, keep it in your hand, now pass it to your hand, keep running around. Pull it tight. There you go.
Good job.
Keep pulling tight.
It's going to have a circle on the front, and then it's going to have a post on the end of the barrel. And you want to line your post and your barrel up so that the center of your post is right in the center of your circle. And that's going to give you the most accurate shot with these peep sights, okay?
The thing is, it's a single shot 22. We're going to load the first round 40 inside the chamber right here. Then you have to collapse it just like this. And then there's no actual safety on this gun. You have to use the hammer, okay?
And I always ask, does anybody know anybody that's ever fallen from a tree?
Oh, yeah.
And usually just about everybody. That's why it's so important. That's how I got involved in Norton Shores Hunter Safety. Was 11 and a half years ago. I was coming back down out of a tree. I always wore my harness while I was in a tree. I'd climb up, I'd strap in. When I'd come back out, I'd unstrap and I'd come back down the tree. I was about 15 feet. A branch broke and I fell. And I broke my back and I've been in a wheelchair now because of it. So that's why it's so important with the things we're going to teach you today. We're going to teach you to climb with a lifeline.
If you want to learn more about how the Norton Shores folks did this, feel free to contact them and pick their brains. This field day was a fun and very informative addition to the normal hunter safety program. Thanks to all who made this such a great event for our up-and-coming sportsmen and women.
Hi, I'm Jordan Brown, and for our next segment on this week's show, we're going to highlight a Michigan company located up in the Keweenaw Peninsula, designing products to make boat control a whole lot easier when you're on the water.
Grade these points right on the map. My name is Travis White. I'm the co-founder and CEO of ProVav Marine, and we are a marine electronics manufacturer up in Houghton, Michigan. For those of you who aren't familiar with our area, we're located up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and on the far west end of it, in the Keweenaw Peninsula. So we are basically surrounded by Lake Superior in every direction, and part of our company's roots is basically, you know, the founders are all fishermen, and we've all spent a significant part of our lives up in this area. Some of us for school here at Michigan Tech, and others just growing up in this area. So we basically took our collective engineering backgrounds and our love for this area, and we started a company designing, manufacturing, and basically selling fishing electronics. And our first product is the ProVav Angler, which is a GPS autopilot system that can be added on to an electric trolling motor. And essentially what that does is it gives your trolling motor the ability to navigate using GPS. So what it can do is hold your boat in one spot like an anchor. You can use a touchscreen on your phone or an iPad or any sort of mobile device to program routes, just like you could with a chart plotter.
There's a lot of technology that goes into creating this device, but when it's all said and done, the main goal is to make sure that it's easy to use and understand.
Our technology here, this here is kind of the brain board for the ProVav system. It has GPS, it has all the motion sensing pieces, and then it has a communication, which is largely based on the Bluetooth spec, which allows it to communicate directly to our app. The app piece of it then, ultimately is one of the things that the user sees. We pride ourselves in our UI and our UX piece of the user interface and the user experience to make it very easy to use technology. And if you compare, our app as compared to some of the chart plotters, a touchscreen interface, something people have in their pocket every day, is very simple to use. It's very easy, it's very intuitive, and that's what we strive to do as technologists here at ProVav. A lot of this stuff is manufactured right here within our state, and even cooler is right here within the local area of the UP.
Using our mobile app, basically we have a home screen here where you can manually control your trolling motor. So I can adjust the direction, I can adjust the speed of the propeller, and I can also set a cruise control using a slider here in either miles per hour or in a thrust percentage. So while this is very useful, probably the most useful part of our application is the ability to view your position on the lake maps. And we have both a satellite imagery layer and a navionics charting layer that allows you to toggle back and forth from one map type to the next. And essentially with this tool in place, you can use your phone just like you would a chart plotter with other systems to control your trolling motor. So if I'm out on the water, I can create an anchor point on the map just with the press of a button, and I can select a spot where I want my boat to drive to and anchor and hold me. So if you're fishing on a hump or a saddle, you can really get yourself dialed into that spot on the spot, which, if you have a lot of these different areas that you fish, allows you to also go back and save them into your tablet. And over time, you can hit those same spots over and over again. So another cool thing is that using our routing feature, I can actually program in a route that my trolling motor will automatically navigate. And the way I do this is just using my finger on the touch screen, and I can essentially create any number of waypoints here to drive my boat along that route point to point.
When I'm ready to run that, I just simply hit go and I set my speed, and the ProNav angler is going to automatically drive your boat for you using your electric trolling motor. So the way this all interfaces with your trolling motor is through Bluetooth, and the entire application is designed to work offline because we all fish in places that don't have great service. So that was one of the initial developments that we did, is made an application that can connect to your trolling motor using the hardware that we sell over Bluetooth, and it uses the GPS positioning system overhead to basically navigate your boat from point to point.
It's always nice to see a Michigan company making it in the outdoor world. Special thanks to Travis and Nels for showing me around the office way up in the Keweenaw Peninsula.
Well, hey everybody, thank you so much for watching Michigan Out of Doors. And if you missed part of this week's show or last week's show, if you want to see something again, you can always check out our website at michiganoutofdoorstv.com. We have full episodes of the show there every week. And if you're on social media, you can check us out at most of the sites there to kind of see what we're up to on a daily basis. Lots of brand new stuff coming over the next several weeks. And hey, if we don't see it in the woods or on the water, hopefully you'll see it right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or greenstonefcs.com. By EOTech, a Michigan company, equipping law enforcement and sportsmen alike with quality optics, creating jobs for Michigan workers. On the web at eotechgear.com. By Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises of Munising, exploring Lake Superior's Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. With its sandstone cliffs, caves, waterfalls, and lighthouses, Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises on the web at picturedrocks.com. Closed captioning provided by Randy's Hunting Center, serving Michigan as Ruger and Leupold's National Dealer of the Year, and inventor of Ruger's 450 Bushmaster rifle.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man.